Hey guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Matthew and I appreciate you tuning in with Miss Haley. She's down here helping out today. The intro was had a little order for some 1x10 white pine, good customer hours, whatever, a couple months they called, needing 150, 200 square feet. They do crafts. They're gearing up for the fall craft show, so we run that real quick. Today's video is about sawing, but you know, there's a lot of small jobs that go along with this. Not every job is a, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 order or board feet order. Customer the other day brought 6 beautiful little 8-foot yellow pine logs. Beautiful. Couldn't ask for no better. Only wants 1x6s, and I'll probably try to square them up, you know, like 12-inch wide cants and cut them in half and just make 1x6s. Now, whatever won't make 1x6, we'll get a few 1x4s. But the purpose of this video is to tell you, even though this is a small job, this is one of the most important sawing jobs I do. Now think about that for a second. Why is it? Now we saw thousands and thousands of board feet. That's going to be hardwood floored. It's going to be wall board. It's going to be tongue and groove, V-groove. Yeah, the sawing's important, but there's a secondary process that's coming in behind that. And if your sawing is a little less than adequate, nobody will ever know. The planer's gonna take it right out. The molder's gonna take it right out. But this is it. We're gonna cut 1x6s. And if they're ugly, customers taking home ugly boards. So this is some of my most important sawing, to make sure that the blade's sharp, not getting any, you know, speed chatter, any dull blade, stuff like that going through there. Because when these leave, this is the finished product. This is what they're going to use. This is what they're going to put on this building. And we want them to look as good as possible, right? I mean, so don't take it lightly. Even though it's a small order, 5 little logs, it's very important to put out a quality product. So these kind of customers are the ones going to tell your other customers, hey, them boys down there at Bearded Lumber, they cut some good wood. That's how you build your reputation, people. We all make mistakes. We all cut crappy boards. It happens. If you see it, throw that crap away. You know, if you got one that's thin in the middle, throw that crap away. If you have to cut one of your own logs to make up the difference, give it to them. Don't send them home with garbage, you know. And we've fought that before. We had problems with our 35. Remember that? We fought that thing, and couldn't keep it sawing right. Finally fixed it. It sawed great to the day it left. Same thing with our 70. We fought with it, getting it up and running, but it's sawing good, true, straight lumber, as long as the operator don't overfeed the saw and the blade's good and sharp. So, and today's been a day of small jobs. We started out this morning cleaning up the yard. I moved a bunch of stuff around, scraped my mud. We don't use weather rock around here. We use weather mud. And my mud was getting dry, so I know it's getting ready to rain. But took the box scraped all the ruts down, make it a little easier to drive through the yard. And we finished up some personal inventory we were working, and we were doing these little small jobs. Because these keep the lights turned on, people. This guy, he'll probably pick it up this week, pay this week. I know the one in there will. He might pick it up today, depending on how bad traffic is coming out of Asheville. You know, that's why you got to keep this stuff rolling. We appreciate each and every one of our customers, whether they spend a little, spend a lot. Word of mouth advertising, you can't spend enough money on advertising to overcome good or bad word of mouth advertising. So enough talking. Let's get our planer rolled out of here, get these logs up. It's a pretty simple process. I might show you the first one, what my goal is, and we're gonna buzz right through them. So let's do it. Okay guys, we're here at the butt cut of this log. That one won't do it. Maybe one or two, the other will. Just barely big enough to get 2 6-inch cants out of. What I got here, representation of our first cut, our waist, split, and then right here is the bottom cut. So I'm probably gonna move this one up about 3/4 of an inch and make that first cut. But we'll see how it goes. But that's my intention. Once I get this side down to like 12 1/8, we'll come right through here and cut it in half. Turn it up. There'll be a couple 4s come off here, and then the rest of them should be 6-inch boards. Hey guys, welcome back. We quit yesterday. Caitlin and Mordecai come by and we sat down and played with him for a little while. Then we went and worked on the boat, and that was kind of the end of the day. So we're back here the next morning. We got 3 more beautiful little logs to do. Here's you a little behind the scenes. Matthew's wanting a new camera mount over here on the wall, so he didn't know I'm going to record him.
We put this nice wood miser banner up, and I lost all the camera angles I had.
Yeah.
So,
My production manager here wants another camera angle shot.
of course.
You didn't drill it, huh?
I did drill it. That's the problem.
Cut. He's gonna go back and do another one. We'll be right back. Okay, take 2. Matthew got the same block of wood, just changed the orientation of the grain and drilled the hole a little bit bigger. Now it'll take a screw without splitting. Just as a little background, that is actually a piece of 2x4 Leland cypress. If you've never sawed any, excellent outdoor wood on a budget. A lot of people plant them around their houses for hedgerows. If you ever get a chance to saw some, it's a good cheap alternative to like a cedar for garden planters. I wouldn't be afraid to use it for siding if you could get enough of it big enough. We got a builder built that's over 9-year-old. We never put nothing on it. Cut the boards 3/4 of an inch, and they're still perfect. So.
And this is leftovers from me building the planter box.
Yep. Yeah, Matthew actually built his wife a planter box out of this Leland. So they're a little behind the scenes. We got another camera mount. Probably gonna put this camera on it and show you cutting a couple of these logs from a different perspective. I can't change my angle, but we can change the angle you get to view from. So This is another one that's probably, it's just big enough. I'm gonna probably cut it down to 12 inches, cut it in half, and 6-inch boards to the bottom. Got one that's too small for that. We'll have to basically work it down to a 6-inch cant, and then the last one here will definitely be big enough to make 2 6-inch cants out of. This part of sawing, you got to look at your logs, use your tape measure, kind of get a game plan of how you're going to saw it from the outside in, depending on what you want to make. Everything's different. So enough talking, let's get to work. Okay, guys, we've just buzzed through those 2 logs real quick. I hope you enjoyed that view from the other end, kind of see what I was doing. The reason I squared those up before I cut them in half is to save Matthew some edging, as well as if I'd have cut it in half before I took the top and the bottom off, I'd end up with narrow boards we got no good out of. This way we'll get at least two 4s or a 6 out of it. I just wanted to show you the cut quality up close. This don't get no better for green lumber on a wood miser. If this is what you're cutting excellent stuff. No speed chatter, no wavy cuts in the blade. Now, one thing our mill has that yours won't, unless you have a 70, is the DCS computer. This thing is exact, people. As long as your logs don't move, that's dead on an inch. And it was an inch from the top to the bottom, because it includes the kerf of the blade in its factor. I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was 12 1/8 or 12 3/16 is what that cant was. Then it cut it in half, and it was exactly 6 inches on both sides. That's what it is. And then when I rolled those two cants over, I went to pattern mode and set it at 1 inch, and that cuts 1 inch cuts all the way to the bottom. We're really loving that. It took some while to get there. You know, if you watch the head's not shaking near what it was. There's some adjustments in there. Well, those bearings capture that tower, and I haven't spoken to Wood Mizer. I don't know if that's something they do on the assembly line, but we had to take and actually remove a little material from those bearing braces to get them to pull in tighter, and that took that head wobble out. Still got a little bit this way, and there's some adjustments down here. They're a little more finicky, because if you go too far, you start elevating the head, and then you screw up your plane, which is easily fixed. It just takes time. But we're going to do a little more investigating, see if we can get a little more of this tower wiggle out of it. The chain causes some of it, because we've adjusted it.
You're not at the right end to check it.
Yeah. We're close to where it ought to be. It's got a rubber isolator on that end that allows it to stretch a little bit, and that introduces a little of this oscillation. I don't know how to get rid of it other than put a little more chain tension on it. I think it had a range, what was it, 5 to
7 inches to 8 inches with it on the opposite end of the mill.
Right, and we went to
the top of the rail.
We went to the tight end of that. We went to 7 inches on the chain. Probably need to check it again, see if it's stretched a little bit. But we're getting there. It's a work in progress. So we got one more smaller log to do, and we'll be done with this little small project. But it's a small project, but it's an important project, because this is what I want to send home with them. Finished grade. They're gonna take this home and go put it on the wall, and they're gonna look at it forever. And we want it to look good. We don't want this tiger stripe mess. We don't want it thicks and thins. This is a finished product. So always bear that in mind. Even though it's green lumber, it's a finished product. Anything you want to add to that, Matthew? I mean, and I'm sawing fast, but not turbo mode. I mean, I'm trying to get through it. I could push it harder, but first couple logs in the morning, we're not in a big hurry. We just let the machine do the work, let the blade do its job. The mill could go a little faster, but for right now, we're good. So let's get these unloaded. We're going to do the last log, and we'll wrap this up. Okay, guys. Sorry, forgot to turn the camera on. We went ahead and sawed that log. Same deal. It was a little smaller, so I basically cut the top, took two or three flitches, rolled it all the way over, cut it down to a 6-inch cant, stood it up, cut the back of the spine, got a 4-inch, got a waist, a 4-inch, 2 keepers, then turned it all the way over, and we cut it right to the bottom. Now, what we got left is this pile of flitches over here. Matthew's been saving. And he'll have to go through them and determine whether he can get, 4, 6, 2 6s, 2 4s, whatever. That's his deal. I'm on the other end playing grunt, grab and move. So, had a customer stop to come by, dropped off a log for another video y'all see eventually. And, whew, a lot going on. So, enough talking, let's get to work. Okay, guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed watching us run through the edger. If you seen us stop and get in the hood, we forgot we still had the table saw blades on. We were edging some kiln dried 1x8 white pine for a customer, or yellow pine, yesterday. So we run it through there and it was real quiet. Matthew knew right then there was something wrong, because those table saw blades leave a smooth finish, but you don't need to run them on green wood. So we swapped that out. We run them all, well worth the effort. I don't know how many we made, but I know for a fact we made 16 1x4s, and there's probably 10 or 12 1x6s. So that adds up. That's profit, that's revenue that you're missing by not doing it. We don't talk about our edger a lot because it's not a big flashy tool like the LT70, but it's worth every penny we paid for it. It has made money time and time again. Just by this pile right here, we didn't have to put it on the mill and edge it, which we can. We just run it through there safely, effectively. We straight line the edge to sell, like we did yesterday. We straight line the edge to run on our winding molder. So it's an invaluable tool. If it fits in your budget, by all means, you ought to add one to your sawmill. You won't regret it. I see no need of carrying one mobile milling. I don't know why they even make one. Somebody out there might could justify it, but as much mobile milling as we did, I could never have charged enough to pay to drag another truck out there, dragging another piece of equipment, edging. So, whatever. Fixed edger is all we need. We love it. We know one day we're going to have to upgrade to a bigger one. This one is perfect. 1-inch boards, 1.5-inch boards, it'll do. 1.5-inch oak, it don't want to do. It's hard. Not enough horsepower to pull that through there. It will do it. I'm just not going to do it 8 hours a day. Okay, we can run these 1-inch boards 8 hours a day and not hurt that machine. Okay, everything's got a limit, and that's kind of its limit. It's hardwoods. Once you get over, we do a lot of 1.25-inch stuff, and we run it slow, and it's no problem. 1.5-inch stuff, we'll edge it back on the mill. So, what do we get out of those 5 little logs? We got 387 board feet, which it's great. 5 little logs, very little waste. Every one of them was straight as an arrow. We ended up with 86 1x6s and 16 1x4s. He wanted 1x6s, but everybody takes home their waste. So the waste was the 1x4s, and you know it's not a lot of money, but that's money we earned sawing. That if we put it out in that flitch pile, it don't come back. This way it goes home with them, it comes back. There's very few of them, there's 16. If he's building anything, he can use these 1x4s. But the main goal was the 1x6s. Cut quality on our LT70, perfect. I couldn't ask for any better. The Wood Mizer Turbo 7, I just answered the question on YouTube. We run an 1.5-inch, 55 thousandths, 739, which is a Turbo 7. That currently is the only blade we run. We may change later. I may get stupid, buy some carbides, try those. You know, I might get some 4 degrees for this super hard stuff we get occasionally. But right now, our blade inventory was at 0 when we bought this mill, and we bought 6 boxes. You know, if y'all bought any of those blades, you know that's a chunk of money. So we're building our blade inventory up, trying not to break too many, but we've probably ruined what, 10?
No.
8?
I'd say maybe 4 we've broke so far. We got a lot that need reset.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them we got to get reset, but they wear out. It's just part of the process. So I hope you found some value in this, guys. These are small jobs. You know, this is not going to buy you a new tractor. It's not going to buy you a new mill, but it will keep the lights turned on, and it will bring you more business if you do good quality work in a timely fashion. I didn't give him a timeline. He dropped it off. I said, we might get it worked in next week. Well, it's Wednesday of the next week. We got it worked in, and I kind of wanted to get to it pretty quick because he said he had another load, so I can save him a trip. When he brings that other load, he can take this load home with him and write me a check. You know, so you gotta run your business. So Anything we missing on that, Matthew? Like I say, I hope you find value in what we're showing you here. We're running a business, and my YouTube channel, Matthew and I decided a long time ago, it's business related. It's what we do every day, trying to run a business. Sometimes it might be going fishing. Sometimes it might be go to Florida, see Solomon, go fishing where Matthew don't catch no fish. But you know, it's what we do every day, guys. We don't record videos just for recording. We're recording what interests me and animates me, and I hope I can show you something, you know, business related to help you in the future of running your sawmill business. And if you're not running a business, fine. I hope you still find some value in it. This is what it takes, you know. So, as always, big shout out to Matthew and Solomon doing our videos. Guys, couldn't do it without you. If you get a chance, check out Solomon's channel, Third Beard Fishing. As always, big shout out to Mizer, Joe Maine. They stand behind us, help us. If you need anything from Joe, give him a call. Blades, equipment, questions, he'll be glad to help you out. Been watching Chuck and Sandra at Shearton Park Farms. Guys, if you want to know anything about North Carolina, rural farming, or farming across the country, watch Chuck and Sandra at Shearton Park Farms. They run a wood miser, but his main focus is farming, cows, pigs, chickens, ducks, geese. Yeah, Chuck, that's your fault with them geese. But he's a good resource. I know a lot of people are trying to do some rural farming, especially with the price of food right now, and he can help you through some of the hurdles of government regulations. They got a Patreon page. If you want to subscribe, you can get a lot of useful information that he just don't give out freely. You know, he's running a business as well. So that's going to do it, guys. As always, we appreciate you watching. If you would, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.